Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Family or Fiance. This is season, who knows? Y'all know how the OWN network does. It might be season 1, season 2, season 3. Who knows, okay? I will have the season number right in the description bar. So the episode actually came on early. Shout out to my subscriber who reminded me that it was coming on. I was able to record it, and now I can review it early. So I appreciate that tidbit of information. Thank you. So I didn't want to review this episode at first. Just like I didn't want to review the last episode that had religion in it, because it's just certain things I don't like to talk about on my channel. Religion is one of them. Politics is another one because it's so polarizing, amongst other reasons, which I'll tell you guys about one day. But one of the main reasons is because I don't have the range to talk about certain subjects, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm talking about things and I'm not really knowledgeable about those things, because I've seen that happen on YouTube, and it's, you look bad, you look ignorant, and when I say ignorant, I mean literally not knowing what you're talking about. And so I just don't like to do it. I don't like to put myself in that position, and so it's just certain things that I don't talk about over here. Plus, this is like a fun place. I like for this to be a place where you can let your hair down and we discuss topics, but nothing too heavy. So yeah, I don't like that to be this kind of place. But you know, we're gonna do a little talk today. The episode actually centered on more than that, so that's a relief, right? All right, so we got Imani and Kobe. Imani's 25, Kobe is 32. And they are atheists, all right? So all that I just said, they're atheists. That's what it's leading up to. It all came out when Imani's mom asked were they going to be married in a church, and that's when they both revealed that they were. They have come to this conclusion together as they've done their own research in the Bible, and they've decided that they don't believe in a higher power. Now, Colby they both were raised in church, but Colby is the son of an associate pastor and a bishop, and then Imani is former Seventh-day Adventist. All right, so one of the challenges with the families is, of course, the whole atheism thing, and the second challenge within the family is it seems Imani's family does not know Colby that well. Now his family doesn't really know Imani, but they've been around her more than Colby's family has been around Imani's. And so there's a concern as to how they're going to interact with each other, the conversations they're going to have with one another. And Colby says that he is ready to hand out some harsh truths. Okay, he's ready to do that. And so the therapist says, so he says brutally honest, excuse me. And so the therapist is just like, okay, well, it sounds like you might you want a challenge. Do you want to challenge Colby? And Colby is basically like, yeah, I want a challenge. And I really think that just stems from he believes that he's been judged by her family for being an influence on Imani and a lot of the decisions she has made, and he feels judged, and so I guess he feel like he gonna bring the judgment to the table as well. Excuse me, y'all. So yeah, that's what we have going on with the families. Now when the families get there, I don't remember everybody's name, so I'm not gonna butcher them. So we have Imani's family, and it's her mother, her cousin, and her sister, older sister. And then for Colby's family, it is his 2 brothers and his older sister. Now listen, anytime somebody doesn't bring a parent, okay, Family or Fiance fans, we all feel this way. When somebody doesn't bring a parent, we are on alert, because for some reason, a person not bringing a parent is like a red flag. Like, you know, that's like the most important member of the family is one of the parents. But of course, there's always reasons, you know, maybe they don't want to be on camera. So there's a number of reasons, right? We know that. So when they get there and they sit down, of course, one of the main focal points is all the family members are concerned about them not having a relationship with God. I heard some New Orleans. Is Colby from Louisiana anywhere? I heard a little bit from his sister when she said, and you know better than that. You wasn't raised that way. So she wasn't feeling it. Another concern from the families is Imani's family feels like Colby has had a lot of influence over her, that she has done a lot of things that she would not have done had Colby not been a part of the picture. And his family feels like, specifically his sister, that he's not going to be welcomed the way that they have welcomed Imani. That over there, she senses a little bit of attitude and senses a little bit of a problem, and she can feel it, and it's not right because we didn't do Imani like that. So I will say Imani's sister came, she came with a little sass. Okay, sis came with a little sass. Now I will tell you, that lace front, that is the most laid lace front that I have ever seen. I would venture to say on the OWN network. That lace front was completely laid out. She was not playing with us there. But she had a little something going on. I did see it. And the mother to me didn't have an attitude, but the mother had an emoji face. Her mother, have y'all ever seen people do mime? Where they do the white face and all of that, and they start doing it. Her mother had the perfect, every time she made a facial expression, I knew exactly how she was feeling. If she was confused, you could see it. If she was happy, you could see it. If she was laughing to keep from crying, you could see it. If you poured chocolate over an emoji, that was Imani's mama. Her name was Diva. That was her face. Like, it was so expressive every time she spoke. So I just noticed that right off. So the families, they're going to do the truth game like they always do. Child, y'all need to come up with some new games, and they're going to go grocery shopping. The grocery shopping with his family was pretty mild. Wasn't too much there. Just casual conversation. But one of the conversations that does come up is, how did you all come to the atheism? And her and Colby both speak about what they read in Exodus, like about the slavery. And they really had issue with that because they don't feel like anything inspired by God would allow that kind of treatment, and definitely wouldn't allow it to be written. And Imani said, and God wrote about that in the Bible. God wrote about slavery. And Clarence was smiling at her, and I too was smiling at her, because I don't know about Colby. He seems a little more well-read, but Imani has a very base level understanding of what's going on. And she believes she sounds so knowledgeable and profound, and I think that's why Clarence was smirking at her like, girl, you don't even know. When she said God wrote that in the Bible, I said, was it in red? Because, it's only the parts that's in red was the parts that was written by God himself. You know that, right? Y'all know when you get your Bible and they had the letters in red whenever the concordance. I said, I bet you she think God wrote all that, huh? Well, we know God didn't write the... Anyway... Yeah, so she has a very limited understanding of what's happening, but she'll continue. She'll continue, hopefully, to do her different research and all of that. So, then we move on to the truth game, which is a little more interesting. We find out that Imani told her family that her and Colby met in the club. That's not true. Imani's family, specifically her sister, had also been talking to her just about, like, did she want to get braces, and I think something about maybe her styling, probably like dressing a little more girly, stuff that big sisters do talk about, stuff like that. And we find out that none of that was true. All right, what actually ended up happening is they met it on Bumble, which is a website where the ladies make the first move. Okay, the man cannot ask a woman out. The women only ask out the men. So there was that information. And then we also find out that even though her sister had been suggesting all of these things, it didn't seem like she wanted to make the moves until Colby came into the picture. And Colby is just like, that's not my problem. Are you mad that she pretty much, did something that I asked her to do and you didn't get what you wanted out of the deal? There's also a conversation of her always talking about herself, the older sister, and never really talking about Imani. So shoot, maybe that's why you don't have any influence over her, because you don't listen to her. And basically you just try to talk over her. Now, the sister does give me those vibes. I also get the vibe that the sister is older by many years than Imani. And a lot of times what happens when you are that much older than your siblings, now I think her mother is married, I saw a ring, but when you are the older sister by a lot of years, a lot of times you become like a second parent. Instead of being a sibling, you become a parent, and that is the relationship that has happened between me and my siblings. So I know what it looks like a lot of times when I see it, and you do end up trying to talk to them a lot and tell them a lot, and you almost become overbearing like a parent, because sometimes, and it's not right, but I know when my mom got divorced and their dad kind of stepped completely out the picture, my mom really depended on me a lot to help. And I did it because I was her help. You know, we were all in it together. But it didn't ruin the bond, but it made the bond between me and my siblings different, to where they no longer trusted me as a sibling. They looked at me more as a parent. And while there is a certain level of trust there, they'll come to me if they need something, but they weren't coming to me to reveal anything to me or to share, or so I could be there for their feelings. And I didn't realize it took me moving here for me to actually start getting that back on track with my sister. And now, you know, I don't let my mom tell me certain things, and I don't let my mom allow me to be the enforcer. I'm more open, because that is my role as a sister. And I think with Imani's sister, she doesn't recognize her role as a sister because she's been asked to almost step in as a parent. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's been she probably has disciplined her. She probably watched her all the time. You know, and so I want to tell all you parents out there who say, you know, well, the older sibling is supposed to help. Yes, they are, but please do not ruin the relationship between a sibling. Do not ruin a sibling relationship trying to make the oldest person parent. Please. And I know parents don't do it on purpose. I know you need the help. I know you want us to be responsible, but it makes it hard for the younger sibling to come to us. And then sometimes, child, them older siblings be gone and the baby just feel like they left there by themselves, so they don't get as close to everybody else, right? They don't feel as close because everybody's older and gone. So that also could be the situation. Either way, there's a situation also between Imani and her sister, and Colby is the one to call that out, and I think that made the sister uncomfortable because she would have rather have heard it from Imani, but it's out there now. So when they go have dinner, there is a conversation that comes up, which did come up during the truth game, about the braces. Colby suggested, I was laughing that her sister brought it out, but hey, we here now. Colby suggested to Imani that she get braces, right? And so Imani is just like, yeah, he did suggest that to me. Okay, amongst also telling us that she did lie about the internet thing, because that was embarrassing for her. Why? I mean, everybody internet dates, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, she also did not tell them fully about the braces because it wasn't really a big deal. She had been thinking about doing it anyway, and the sister was like, you had been thinking about it, but you would not have done it if he wouldn't suggested it to you, because you had been thinking about it for years. And Colby doesn't see the problem. You know, if I do something and I suggest something to her and she decides to do it, what's the big deal? That's just how I am. I'm just being honest. Now, Colby's family is also a part of the problem, because they pretty much said, well, that's just how he is. You know, he just offers up criticism that way. It's constructive and it wasn't meant to hurt her feelings. And I'm going to tell you how I know they lying, because off to the side, I saw the brother eating that food, and he was eating that food like, bruh, like, he is wilding right now. Like, you told this girl he need to get braces, but he's, you know, he flipped it and made it look like, hey, that's just how he is. And I'm going to get on that's just how he is a little later on, because there's another dinner scene. So Imani's sister is not feeling it. She's not appreciating it. Neither is the mama, because A, why do you have that kind of influence on her? And B, why do you feel like you can tell somebody that? And I think I agree with that. What do y'all think? So later on, they're all with their individual families. Colby's with his family. Imani goes and has some one-on-one time with her sister, which she needed. Her and her sister are able to come to some conclusions on how her sister has been a little bit too much. Imani wants her to be more open and also to listen to her and not make everything about her. And just be supportive. I want you to support me. I want you to be here with me. But this, you know, this is of course after her sister shares her concerns. And the sister says that she's going to try to do better. She begins to cry. I understood why she was crying, because when I realized that my siblings did not trust me wholeheartedly to tell me certain things because I react like their mother and not their sister, that hurt my feelings too. So I just want the best for my siblings, and I know what that feels like. And you're giving them all this advice, and you're telling them everything you did wrong, and they don't want to hear it because they got to live their own life, and it's hard. But I hope they continue to grow in their sibling relationship, because having a sister is one of the best things that I've ever had, and I know how important a relationship is. So I hope they get that right. So Colby has a outside conversation with his family. Again, we're talking about the religion thing. He is saying that, from what I understand, from what I gather, he doesn't believe in a higher power. He definitely is focused on the Exodus thing, but he doesn't understand why there's no ending of suffering. If we serve a God who is so good, then why is there suffering? And the only thing that I can trust is what I see. And Clarence is basically just like, see, you're trying to apply spiritual logic to man-based logic. You're looking for things about God and the nature of God, and you're looking for man to ask those questions. So you already messing up right there. But this is where he told him, like, when you see suffering, that's where faith comes in. And even he feels like faith. He was like, you can have faith in anything. You can have faith in Bigfoot. And Clarence is just like, that's not how it works. That is not how faith works. You don't even have an understanding of what it is. And so they pretty much table it. And Clarence tells him, look, that's why I say keep digging. Keep digging. Because Colby does say it's hard for me to turn. It's hard because I wanted to be a minister, but I had all these questions. And Clarence is like, absolutely. And you should continue to have them. And that's why I was feeling Clarence. Because I actually feel like in church and in a lot of our religious, in any religion that you're a part of, sometimes there's not an encouraging of questions, and there should be an encouraging of questions. And I feel like just from my experience with growing up in church, I think especially the youth ministry has really ignored the fact that you have to start countering and providing answers to the questions very early on, so that you don't grow up with these people who begin to question everything they know, because they never really felt like they knew, right? So it's important that you're able to learn the theology and also learn other religions. Like, I think a strong youth ministry could really help a lot of these churches out today, but child, that's a constant conversation that I have with people. But yeah, you have to, like Clarence said, keep digging until you find truly what you're looking for. And Colby even said, I feel like if God know what I need to know it's real. Okay. And coming from somebody who had questions and literally had to just ask, hey, you gonna have to show me what it is, or and I received a lot of the answers I was looking for, but I won't get into my own personal experience. But like, I liked Clarence. I liked his answers on things. I liked his views. And Clarence, you can have Bible study with me anytime, boo. Because you wasn't bad on the eyes either. But I'm not lusting. I ain't lusting. All right, so we move on from that. And we move into the next thing. So, let me go through my notes. Oh, yes. There's dinner again. All right. So, even though they just had this conversation on the beach, Imani's sister, again, brings up the braces at the dinner table. I don't even know how it came up the second time, but she still doesn't understand why he believes that was okay. And Colby still doesn't understand why this is coming up and why it's such a big deal. I mean, yeah, I said something about her teeth. She wasn't offended by it. Were you offended? And Imani, of course, is going to say no. But she's just, the sister is just like, but don't you see why that's not okay? Don't you see why that's not a good thing? I think it came up because they talked about their therapy session, I think. Don't you understand that that's not okay? Like, you're tweaking stuff about her on the second date. And then he admitted that if she hadn't fixed it on the second date, there would be no third date. Now, that is an eye-opener, y'all, because that tells me that, like, I've met people before, and they don't necessarily have what I like, right? Like, teeth are a big deal to me. They are. But I've met people who I've liked and been like, you know what? There's other things that I can see here, and I can look past something that I don't like. That, to me, tells me that on the second date, you didn't see anything beyond physical appearance that you liked enough to kind of work with her. And I'm not saying you had to work with her. I'm just saying you didn't see anything else. And if you didn't, roll. roll. Right? And I'll say this. Imani to me strikes me as a girl who never thought she'd get a Colby. Colby is not bad looking. Okay? He ain't, I know some of y'all was dragging, but he's not bad looking. And I really feel like Imani's self-esteem at that time was at a point where she did not think she was going to meet a guy like this, with the big arms, who was tall, and, who was so intelligent. She didn't think she was going to pull a Colby, and so she was willing to do whatever she had to do to make him happy and to make him want to be around, even if that meant getting braces. And what she did was put herself in a position where he knows now that he can get you to, if you will get braces to please somebody, as expensive as they are, and as much as them bad boys will hurt, it ain't too many things you're not willing to do, right? And that's what the sister is concerned about. You might get breast implants. If he want a bigger booty, you just gonna do it. If he tells you we're white today, you gonna roll with it because he just has that much control. Now, the sister speaks up, Colby's sister, and says she's sick of it. She is tired of it. And then she tells him, she tells her, well, you're not married, so you don't understand. I was just like, see, that was a dig. And we all knew it was a dig. Imani's sister knew it was a dig. I knew it was a dig. And you knew it was a dig. Because what being married got to do with having basic sense enough to know that you don't tell somebody you would look 2 points better if you got braces on the second day. That's good common sense. And the sister was going on and on about how you don't understand because you're not married, and that's something that maybe they got going on that we don't get. And she decided to do it. So at the end of the day, that was her decision, which was true. Imani did do it. Okay, so she herself, like I said, she placed herself now in a position where he knows how far he can take it. But that's just how he is. Like, it shouldn't matter. And I'm about to leave because I don't want to be rude. Well, you already been rude. So you can go ahead and go to the room. I'm just going to say this. I don't care if that's how a person is. Like, just because your family accepts some foolishness doesn't mean that anybody else has to accept it. I got people in my family right now. It's people, y'all got people like this too. They say rude stuff. They are shady. They believe they're being funny. They like to kind of embarrass people or bring up stuff at a random time that doesn't need to be said. Or they like to try to shame you or embarrass you. I get people who try it because I'm not married all the time, or I don't have kids. I get people who, in my family, who will try it. And they will get red. They will get told off. And a lot of times I have people be like, oh, well, that was so mean. And, that's just how so-and-so is. I don't care if that's how they are. I don't have to put up with somebody because that's how they are and that's how you choose to deal with them. I don't choose to deal with that. I don't tolerate that kind of disrespect. So if I want to say something about it, then I have every right to say something about it. That's just how he is. Doesn't hold a person accountable. That's just how he is. Doesn't allow a person to grow up. That's just how he is. Will cause a person to continue to perpetuate the same foolishness that they should not be a part of. Nobody should be speaking to somebody like that on the second date. And the sister was like, I'm sure you got a type. We all got a type. But if you don't like what you see, then just bounce. Don't call back. If you don't see anything in them worth sticking around for, and the thing that you don't like sticks out the most, just bounce. You don't see a problem with him saying that there wouldn't have been a third date if she didn't get braces? I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. But to me, it seems shallow. And it seemed like a rude thing to say. And I don't care if that's just how he is. Okay, I'm the type of person, I think all kind of stuff about people. Don't mean I say it out loud upon first meeting them. Okay, I at least give it a couple months. But yeah, that part, just condoning. I felt like they were condoning everything that he was doing. So anyway, y'all, we move on because Imani wants Colby and her sister to be close. Why? Okay, it doesn't really matter. Like, Imani strikes me as a person who, she loves her family. She truly cares about what they think. And she really, really wants them to like Colby and to appreciate Colby as much as she does, because it'll just make her life a whole bunch easier. But they don't want to. And so the conversation between Ariel and Colby was a disaster. Colby actually shot some Bible verses at her and said, well, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to tell you that I understand where you was coming from. I understand why you was upset. And she was like, yeah, but I don't really feel like you mean that. So I still kind of have the same energy towards it. He gonna hit her with according to the Bible, grace is supposed to be new every morning. I said, See, Christian folk, this is exactly why y'all need to be reading y'all word, because y'all stay tongue-tied when somebody who don't believe in it presents you with it. Y'all really gonna have to do better. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call y'all out. Y'all gonna have to do better with that, okay? I would have hit them with a little bit of that Luke 17:3. So watch yourselves. If your brother sins, rebuke him. Sorry. If your brother sins, rebuke him. If he repents, forgive him. Repent means to turn away from. Repent means to express true sorrow and remorse. And because you're not expressing true sorrow and remorse, according to what I'm seeing, then I don't have to forgive nothing. That is why my energy is still the same, baby. My grace is new every morning towards plenty of things. It's not new towards this. It's not new towards this because I don't see any true repentance. I don't think you really understand, and I think you'll do it again. And you would have got away with it if it wasn't for the mumbling word, because I know mine. Gonna try to hit me with a verse. I said, look at your tongue-tied, Ariel. But she basically says, don't try to hit me with this and say she a work in progress. And the conversation just doesn't go well. They don't come to any agreements. They end up both being done. I'm not really sure. I do know why he did it. He hit her with the verses because he was trying to give her a dose of her own medicine, even though it's a word that he said he don't believe in. So that was the irony of it all. And they get back in there, ask for the blessings. His family gives the blessings. Her family does not give the blessings, which I wasn't surprised. Nobody but the cousin gave it. But her mom and her sister don't give it, which didn't surprise me at all. They were going to get married at the courthouse. I don't know if Twitter or Lipstick Alley ever found them, but it probably went through. They probably went through with it. But I believe Imani saw a lot of things with Colby that maybe she didn't realize before. And I just hope she realizes, like the therapist said, if he's going to tweak your teeth, and there's always going to be things within a marriage that you want to tweak, and if one person is always doing the tweaking, eventually you're going to tweak yourself out, and he's just going to be like, you know what, I just don't like you. Okay? And you're going to be this person, and you're not going to know. Like, I immediately thought about Tiny when they were having this conversation. All that work and all that stuff that Tiny has done, like, to her body, and child,